Channel 6.3 in Tulsa. Game 1 of the Western Conference semis between the Denver Nuggets and the Thunder is in the books with the final score 119-121. Alongside Royce Young, I'm Paris Lawson as we welcome you back inside of Paycom Center following tonight's action here in the building. And this is what playoff basketball is all about, Royce. Two high-level teams battling it out to the very, very finish. And this one went down to the final seconds. Both teams playing an absolute chess match to try to end up on top, and the Denver Nuggets walked away with the win tonight.
Yeah, I feel like I have like a billion thoughts about this game with everything that kind of happened throughout at Paris, specifically in that second half where Thunder really held the lead throughout it, and a number of different times the Nuggets were able to carve in, to just get it to 5 was kind of seemed where they were stuck at, and then Thunder did a great job of pushing it back up to 10 or 12. And then really things kind of started to change in those final 4 minutes. Denver got in the bonus, and really the best word to use for it is they started kind of grifting fouls. They started stopping short, kind of flailing their arms, finding ways to the free throw lines, and credit to them, they were able to do that. And so that's really what kind of was able to turn the scoreboard in their favor.
Yeah, I know you've got a lot of thoughts. I've got a lot of thoughts, but let's hear the thoughts from Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault, who's in the press room right now.
Late, and you guys, trying to make the plays down the stretch.
Yeah, credit them. I thought they out-executed us down the stretch. I liked a lot of what we did most of the night to have control of the game. Obviously didn't close it tonight, but I thought we did a lot of good things. I thought we got a lot of feedback in terms of our plan. Didn't think our execution was as clean as it can be, but we'll learn from it. It's a series.
Mark, obviously I know generally you try to foul up 3, but is there any part of you that wishes that last sequence went differently, and especially the possession where Jokic is still waiting to check in?
I don't know exactly what possession you're talking about on that one, but yeah, I mean that's usually our deal, is to foul up 3. And to play that game. I thought we executed the fouls pretty well, got the ball in bounds pretty well. It didn't go our way tonight, but it's worked out well for us in the past. We'll continue to look at it, maybe learn from it, but I didn't think that's why we lost the game.
And with Jokic, it felt like I think he had at least 8 free throws in that fourth quarter. It felt like he's on the fence with the 5th foul, and there are some sequences that maybe swing that game. Like, how difficult is that when you're trying to shift center out the game, Chet to Hart, and try to manage that?
I mean, I thought a lot of the free throws that hurt us in the fourth were like backcourt fouls that were, just sloppy execution on our part that we can learn from and clean up. We had them in the bonus early in the first. They were in the bonus early in the fourth. That hurt us. So, again, there's stuff we can learn from, but it wasn't our cleanest game. It was kind of a coin flip type of game. We allowed them to get back in it and make it a possession game. Gordon made a shot, credit him, and we just got to be better.
A couple of things. One, they came back. They got some quick fouls. They didn't have to use the clock. And then 2, after SGA hits his free throws, you fouled immediately instead of letting them maybe use some time to get it past half court to use up some time. I guess why foul as soon as they inbound the ball on the other end of the court?
Yeah, so a couple things on that. I did think the backcourt fouls hurt us, and again, we can learn from that. The fouling up 3, that's on me. I think given the foul and getting the foul executed is critical. So if there's something to be learned from that, it's probably giving it too early on my part, but that's not on the players. They're executing what I'm telling them to do.
Mark, you said, you mentioned a few things about how you guys ended up losing this, but you said that the fouling situation down the stretch wasn't why you lost. What would you boil it down to, why you lost this one?
I mean, just overall execution on both ends of the floor. I thought defensive execution, we, had a lot of possessions that we can clean up and learn from. The rebounding, we can definitely learn from. They had a lot of offensive rebounds tonight, gave them a lot of second life. And then our execution down the stretch offensively. So, it's lousy that we lost game 1. We'd rather be up 1-0 and with stuff to clean up, but that's not how this works. So now we got to go get to work and execute better next game.
What's the challenge of, a game like this where you have a pretty comfortable lead, see it, lost away, losing home court advantage? I mean, just those sorts of things on the mental side of things. What's the challenge of coming back from that?
It's the playoffs. We have to embrace it. We have to embrace the struggle of the playoffs. We have to embrace the adversity of the playoffs. The playoffs are a mountain to climb, so it's not going to be easy for anybody. We kind of coasted through the first round. It was challenging in the games, but we had control of the series the whole time. But no one just walks their way through a series at this point in the season. So credit Denver. They were the better team tonight. We can learn from it. We need to execute better, but it's a series first of four.
Joker obviously had another monster night. What did you think of the execution of the defensive game plan against him? And what's your feeling coming out of this about your team's ability to try to contain a guy who's obviously maybe the best player in the league?
Yeah, 42 is loud, obviously. 10 of those were free throws. He didn't assist the ball tonight the way that he does on average. So, the free throws were problematic, especially the bonus ones, like the one on the cut, the one in the backcourt. Those are tough plays where he's walking the line, getting points on those. But there were plays that we executed well. There were plays that we didn't. I thought in the first half we did a really good job defensively. We held them to 50 points or around there. But, we obviously need to be better. We don't want to give them 42 points.
And you're up 14 with a little bit over 4 left. The way things went, obviously, before you got to the final game, to the fouls game, rather, from 14 to where it became a possession game, what did you think went wrong for you guys?
Anytime you give up a lead like that, it's both ends of the floor. So it's offensive execution. I can do a better job of getting us organized and getting us quality looks. And then down the other end, to Myron's point, I thought some of the fouls that put him on the line without using clock obviously helped him get back into it. So it was both ends. It was everybody. We're all in it together. We need to execute better. I need to coach better. They need to execute the plan better. And we just need to be a better team in game 2.
Yeah, Mark, I think Jokic got his 5th foul on the flagrant with 6.5 minutes left. After that, did you change your offense at all, trying to go at him more, trying to get a 6th foul, and did that lead to any offensive stagnation?
We certainly try to go at them at times, but, you can get teams into like a defensive rhythm if you're like repeatedly at them every single possession. So we try to mix the bag a little bit on that, but it was on our mind for sure. We're aware of the foul situation, but like I said, we could have been better down the stretch.
The play we're talking about, Jokic not in the game, that came after Shea's dunk. They clearly thought they were going to foul and get him right back in. Shea gets free for the dunk. How tough is it to switch a strategy with no stoppage of play, where you got the dunk, they got no timeouts, they got to just play?
That's what's tough. It's tough to switch the strategy. We've got the guys locked in on fouling up 3 as a philosophy. They executed it. Like I said, anything with the foul up 3 stuff in terms of timing, that's on me. I'll take full responsibility for that. But philosophically, that's also what we do.
Did you see anything tonight that would indicate that the long layoff may have affected anything about the outcome of the game?
I don't know. It's hard to say. At the end of the day, I thought, maybe if we started the game like Rusty, we were 0 for 10 from 3 to start the game, and then we were 7 for 14 after that. So, I thought we found our groove there. And I thought our stuff, really was down the stretch, So I think it was more of an execution thing. It's hard to siphon out, what exactly to attribute that to. But the reality is they out-executed us tonight. It's a 7-game series. We need to be the better team in game 2.
First half, Jokic seemed like he was operating a lot inside. You guys were very active in the passing lanes. And second half, it looked like he was more so outside and then trying to back you guys down. What did that do for you guys' defense to throw you guys off?
Yeah, I thought, like I said, in the first half, I thought we did a good job on him and their team. We had, we got stops. We were disruptive. I thought we had them a little bit out of rhythm. We were physical. In the second half, they scored, over 35 in both quarters. So, I thought that was a defensive issue in the second half. Obviously, the free throws had something to do with that. But, again, we did a lot of good things. both ends of the floor. It's never as bad as you think it is when you lose by 2, but now we got to get to work and improve our execution. We have to get better as the series goes.
Do you feel like that was more of a point of attack thing for you guys, or physicality thing?
With the defense, a little bit of everything. Execution of schemes, the rebounding certainly hurt us in the second half. The free throws hurt us in the second half. It was a mixed bag. We just we need to be a little bit better. We don't have to be perfect, but we have to certainly be better.
This obviously wasn't the outcome that you were looking for, but can you talk about the positive that Caruso brought?
Yeah, he was awesome. He's a gamer. I thought he gave us a great lift in the first half, obviously. And the shot making, he was the one that kind of got the ball rolling down the hill for us there. Did a great job out of halftime. I thought we got control of it there, deciding to start him. And then, he's just so engaged in the game. He knows the plan. He can guard a lot of different guys. He executes. I thought he played great on offense tonight. He played a great game.
Mark, is the stagnation on offense just really hard to turn around once you start having trouble, and really the low percentage shots that J-Dub got off and a couple that Shea got?
Yeah, like the dead ball offense, some of that's coaching. I got to get us in advantageous positions in those situations. And then some of it's just like when we're not getting stops. The game's all connected. So when we're not getting stops, we're taking the ball out of the basket, or they're shooting free throws. We're coming up against a dead floor every time down the stretch of a game. So a few more stops help us there. We'll evaluate every possession, try to get better. Like I said, it was an execution game down the stretch, and they out-executed us.
Mark, obviously, Chet was very involved in that last sequence. He misses the 2 free throws, and then he tries to defend Gordon on the other end. He hits the game-winning 3. What's sort of your conversation with him after the game and after that sequence?
I'm not going to smother him right now. I think generally we talk going into the playoffs about the gaps between the games and the ups and downs of a series and the challenges that teams need to overcome to accomplish what they want to accomplish. So we do that proactively for this situation. We know it's not going to be easy. We know the playoffs are challenging. They take teams to the limit. We're no exception to that. So hopefully the guys apply that framework to when they lay on the pillow tonight, and then we'll come back tomorrow and go through the same process that we would go if we won the game by 2.
Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thanks.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff there from Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault following tonight's game against the Denver Nuggets in Game 1. And to his point, this comes with the territory of playing in the playoffs, and especially when you get into clutch time, execution becomes more and more paramount. And we saw there in the second half, as Coach Daigneault was pointing out, the Thunder's defensive execution fell a little bit shy to come away with the win.
Yeah, no question about it. And he pointed it out, 35 in each quarter.
Yeah,
that's not typical of the Thunder. And again, credit to the Nuggets. They did a lot of good things throughout that second half. They made a lot more shots. They were great on the offensive glass. They got to the free throw line again. But as Coach Mark was kind of talking about, playoff losses feel bad, and they can feel weighty, and sometimes it can feel like that's all that's going to happen. And this is something that obviously in this postseason this team hasn't experienced yet. But it does take 4 to get there, and it's never quite as bad as it seems. And one of the beauties kind of the 0-0 mindset. So often, because we're so spoiled, we think of the 0-0 mindset as trying to recenter yourself after a big win.
Right.
It also works in the reverse, where you go back to 0-0 and you start game 2 that way. So nobody ever thought that it was going to be easy, and in a lot of ways, good experiences like this can be really positive for a young team like the Thunder. And also just look at the other conference tonight. The Boston Celtics were favored big too, and they lost on their home floor in overtime to the New York Knicks. Nobody is immune to this. It's part of the challenge of the postseason.
Yeah, it's a great point. And Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault said before the game tonight, he said, no series is won in Game 1. It's a long series, and the Thunder, as he said, going to get back to the drawing board, start recounting everything that they need to take away from this one and apply it in Game 2. And one thing that we know about the Thunder that we've seen all season long, the resilience and the responses are always pretty strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, they haven't had to do it after losses all that much because it has been such an incredible season for this group. But this is again, Mark used the term kind of this as part of the climbing the mountain that you have to do in the postseason. So, the Thunder experience some ways last year against the second round series against the Dallas Mavericks, had to do some of the same thing and cleaned up some of the execution as the series went along. Obviously, Dallas ended up taking that series, but this is something to build upon kind of as you turn the page to game 2. There's a lot of areas in this game where obviously the Thunder could have been better, and in so many ways the Thunder nearly walked out of here with a win regardless of that.
Right.
But again, credit to the Nuggets. A lot of people counted them out after that 7-game series, didn't think they'd have the legs to come in here. I can tell you this, the Thunder did not take them lightly. They were ready to go for this game, and in a lot of ways looked pretty sharp to start this one, just weren't able to execute down the stretch to get it finished.
Well, and also let's talk about the bright spots as well, and I love that Alex Caruso got a shout out in that post-game presser because he was all over the court tonight. Those 20 points, that's a season high. The 6 steals, that's a season high. The 5 made threes, again, a season high. An incredible performance all around from Alex Caruso.
Yeah, shot making was incredible. The energy that he brings, the way he tilts the game with so much activity. That loose ball that he tracked down, I thought that was the game-winning play. To me, it was like that was such a monumental play, and that was a winning type of play. And of course, the Thunder just weren't able to close it out from there. But again, that's kind of where you can look at. Caruso was tremendous in this game. Lou Dort was able to kind of turn the game on his head. He started, I don't know what it was, Paris, 0 of 5 or 0 of 6 from 3. 0 for 5. And then he hit 4 straight.
Exactly.
So some of the shot making, the Thunder can do a better job at that, especially early in the game. OKC, I think, missed some opportunities to widen that lead out to 20 at times, and really weren't able to do it because weren't knocking down the open shots. Again, Mark pointed it out, I think. If you review this tape, I think the Thunder are going to be thrilled with the shot quality they got because there was a lot of good looks for OKC in this game.
Well, and if you look back, it's a 2-point game, right? And so you look here and there along the margins of every corner, you overturn every stone, and you'll find 2 points somewhere for the Thunder. And you go back and you look, as to Mark Dagnall's point, it's never as bad as you think. It's also never quite as good as you might think. The Denver Nuggets might be feeling really good right now, but the Thunder certainly have a lot to feel good about as well.
No question. And, again, it's a long playoff series. And also say this just about some of the elements of that second half there. That's what can get amplified in a game that is tight. Some of the close calls that didn't go the Thunder's way, Nikola Jokic, I think, pretty obviously fouled Chet Holmgren. Should have been his 6th foul, but that didn't go. And it was that play, just to rewind on that, Coach Mark wanted to do kind of a genius proximate foul call because
we
the
saw
ball
this
went,
in the Memphis
exactly
series.
The ball went out of bounds, but what they actually called was basket interference because of the way that the ball popped off the goal. I don't know if it actually was. It looked like just a missed dunk, but again, these are those sort of small things there. And then there was the challenge on Jokic and SGA and the foul call there. They kind of rewound the clock pretty far back to go back to get SGA's foul call. That was kind of curious to me, but those sort of things get amplified in these kind of close games, and so hopefully maybe they amplify the other way for OKC in game 2.
Well, all we know is that the Thunder are going to go back to the drawing board after this game and try to come back a better team in game 2. Stick with us here on Thunder Playoff after this.
Air Comfort Solutions has always stood for cooling, heating, plumbing, and electrical services you can count on. Assuring comfort since 2004, our Oklahoma Strong team stands for accuracy, confidence, and support where and when homes need us most. Today, with our refreshed look and our expanded services, ACS stands for achieving 100% customer satisfaction as we stand tall and do it all for OKC Homes. Like a $69 AC tune-up to keep your home comfortable year-round. For whatever your home needs, don't stress. Call ACS.
Experience the sweet, vibrant flavors of Mexico in every spoonful of Brahms' new fancy sundaes. Enjoy a cascade of fresh fruits on Brahms' Tarta de Fresa Crema Sundae. Indulge in creamy cinnamon-kissed ice cream with silky caramel on the Chongo's Zamorano Sundae. Dive into strawberry paradise with Brahms' Fresas con Crema Sundae and savor each caramel-filled bite of Brahms' Sopapilla Cheesecake Sundae. Authentic flavors, bold traditions, and irresistible sweetness in every scoop only at Brahms.
Big wins are blooming across Riverwind Casino, and the jackpots have never been sweeter.
Go all in on your favorite table games.
Hedge your bets on the biggest wins and unbeatable entertainment. Use your wild card for the best perks and the top rewards.
And play for your share of the $100,000 Lucky May Days giveaway. Win with the best.
And we'll see you at Riverwind.
Welcome back to Thunder Playoff Post Game. Once again, our final score 119-121, a close, tightly contested matchup here in Game 1 of the Western Conference Semifinals. An electric atmosphere here inside of Paycom Center as Denver takes the series lead 1-0 here tonight. Looking for a place to watch Thunder playoffs? The game's always on at Thunder Watch Zones presented by Michelob Ultra. Find a watch zone near you by scanning the QR code on your screen now. As we welcome you back inside of Paycom Center, you'll notice a new face joining us here on Thunder Playoff Postgame, and that's a familiar face to all those News 9 watchers. It is Steve McGeehee of News 9. And Steve, first and foremost, I just want to get your reaction to the final moments of this game. I mean, me and Royce were talking about it. It was a bit of a chess match between both coaches and a lot of things happening during that final stretch.
It was a free throw contest down the stretch, and it was tough to watch because Thunder had a double-digit lead late, under 5 minutes to go. I thought when Lou Dort flew in here, got the offensive rebound, and then Shea hits the three, that put him up 113-102. Okay, we got him. But then it was just they could not get a bucket when they needed it, and they were making every free throw down the stretch. And then, I feel bad for Chet Holmgren because he's going to make those free throws. He's going to learn from this situation. I think, this is going to be wasn't supposed to be an easy playoff series, and it's not an easy playoff series. It's supposed to be tough when you get in the semifinals, but I think Chet's going to learn from this. And this team, as Mark said, we just didn't execute at the right time, and Denver just stayed in there, and then Aaron hits the shot.
Steve, you've been around this team as much as anybody not just this season, but for multiple seasons now. And while this season hasn't seen a lot of games like this, this Thunder team has been historically dominant, obviously how well they've played. But what have you seen being up close and personal from this group that makes you think of how they're going to turn the page going into Game 2 and kind of resetting themselves back to the 0-0 mentality?
I think this is going to motivate them. And it's interesting now, the second playoff loss in a row where they've lost in the final possession. They lost Game 6 in Dallas on that final possession as well. So they're going to learn from this. They need to deal with adversity, and they have it right now, being in an 0-1 hole, losing a game on your home floor. So that means you got to win at least one in Denver to make this thing a series. So I think they're going to bounce back from this. They need playoff experience. I think Denver's playoff experience and their players really showed in this game. They didn't fight. They just kept on fighting and didn't quit, and they got the shot to go in. But I think Oklahoma City will bounce back from this. They're going to be motivated. I think they're really going to be motivated to win this game, and I expect them to win Game 2.
I got to get your opinion on Alex Caruso and what we saw from him in the Memphis series. It felt like he was just unleashed onto the court. He said that his game was really tailored for moments like this and playoff experiences like this. What did you see from him in this game?
Well, they were 0 for 10 from 3 in the first quarter, and then he knocks down that 3 in the second quarter, and here we go. But his fingerprints were all over this game tonight, and this is why they got him in the offseason for playoff moments like this. But he was spectacular, and he's going to play like this, I'm sure, the rest of the way. They need somebody like Alex Caruso to knock down the shots and play strong defense. It's just, I'll say it again, it just wasn't their night, and Denver just kind of hung around there, and they got the shot to go in.
Steve, I wanted to ask you with Coach Mark and what he was kind of describing there is that execution down the stretch with the fouling up 3. Again, this is something the Thunder haven't had to do a whole lot this year. I pointed it out before. They only have 2 wins all season by 1 possession game. So just kind of reviewing that kind of whole situation and the way that Coach Mark explained it, what did you take away there?
I'm okay with fouling. Up 3, keep fouling, but they made every free throw. And then it comes down to the shot to win the game. But I'm okay with that situation. The odds are eventually they're going to miss one, and that's what you're looking for. But it's just that they kept making them, and there was 2 seconds off the clock. It was a very slow finish. It was really tough to watch because it felt uncomfortable. And then that shot goes in, you're like, wow, that just happened. But, bounce back, look at the tape tonight, tomorrow, and be ready for Game 2.
Yeah, I know we are all looking forward to Game 2. And Steve, always excellent perspective and experience as always. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join us.
Having me on. It was a lot of fun.
All right, stick with us here on Thunder Playoff Post Game. We've got more coming for you after the break, so stick around, and we will be right back.
Big car payments? that's no fun. Even if you love your car or truck, the wrong vehicle loan can leave you wondering where your money goes and if your payment could have been lower. So if you're paying more than you should on your car loan every month, give a little love to your budget and contact Communication Federal Credit Union. There's no cost to find out if we can help. Plus, all new vehicle loans and refinances get the first 90 days with no payment. Love your car and your loan payment with Communication Federal.
Let Love's be your partner on your summer RV trip. Fuel up, grab a bite to eat, and stay the night at one of our 90 RV stops. Reserve an RV spot overnight and turn on amenities from your phone. With over 420 dog parks, we've even got your furry family members covered. We're the perfect pit stop for your next road trip. Love's, the heart of the highway.
With OG&E Smart Hours, you control your energy and your savings. If you're a busy bee, go with Smart Hours Daily, where daily price alerts let you maximize savings. Or how about Smart Hours Fixed? Just set it and forget it. Night owl? Choose Smart Hours overnight. No matter which you choose, with Smart Hours, you control your energy and your savings. When you reduce your energy use between 2 and 7 p.m. this summer, you help the grid, the environment, and your wallet. But you have to sign up to save. So sign up now at oge.com/smarthours.
Welcome back to Thunder Playoff Postgame. We are here inside of Paycom Center recapping tonight's matchup in Game 1 of the Western Conference Semifinals between the Thunder and the Denver Nuggets. Our final score, 119-121 here tonight. Reserve your spot for the next season of Thunder basketball. Deposits for 2025-26 season ticket memberships are officially open. Get ahead of the game and lock in your deposit now by scanning the QR code on your screen now. Welcome back inside of Paycom Center. I'm Paris Lawson, joined alongside the Thunder's very own Royce Young. And Royce, as I think about this game and hear from Steve McGeehee, we heard from Coach Dagnall, and there are a lot of takeaways from this game. You and I have talked about a lot of them so far, but one that we haven't discussed is the resilience that the Thunder showed within this game itself, right? Getting out to a really slow start from shooting behind the three-point line. The Thunder started 0 for 10 from 3 and then kept this game going. Mind you, after starting 0 for 10, they were able to bounce back and they were able to walk away. They had the lead going into that first quarter. So a lot of great resilience from the Thunder, even within this game. So you can expect some great resilience going into Game 2. Let's go over to the press room now so we can hear from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams at the podium.
Fun. We're going to find out what we're made of, what we're really made of. And we couldn't expect it to be smooth sailing this whole journey. No journey in life is, and we know that. And today is a bump in the road, unexpected. No one expects to lose, especially that way, but it's the game of life, so it's about how you respond to getting knocked down, and that's what we got to do next game.
Yeah, for Shai or Jalen, either one of you guys, whoever feels, the play where you got broke free for the dunk with 10 seconds left, go up 3. Mm-hmm. They're out of timeouts. Jokic is out of the game. Mark explained you've been trained, you're fouling when you're up 3 and just automatic. But would have been a nice thing maybe to just play defense with Jokic on the bench. How tough is it to adjust course in the heat of the moment like that when what you maybe are supposed to do is not the best thing to do?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. So it's hard now because we lost, and it's going to seem like we should have did the other thing, obviously, because what we did led to a loss. But, like, we've been in that situation before. We fouled, and we've won the game. And tonight it didn't go in our favor. Now, it's not always going to go the way you want it, but there's analytics and there's a way we want to end the game, and I think we did it as we planned. It just didn't go our way. But yeah, we like I said, it's nothing's ever going to always go your way, and that's what happened tonight.
Jalen, as that shot at the buzzer's going up, what goes through your mind in that moment? Not only the shot.
My shot?
Yeah, your shot.
But that ain't making it to the rim. I'm actually impressed to hit the glass. It was kind of like you get like the shock of the 3 going in, and like obviously we're out of timeouts. It's just like just try and get it close to the rim, and see what happens from there. That's really it.
More broadly, you guys obviously a lot will be talked about the last seconds, but you're up 14 and then find yourself in a close game. What do you guys diagnose as the whys of not being able to close out after building that kind of lead?
Rebounding.
Yeah, rebounding, execution late. We got some good looks. Probably could have got better looks, better offensive possessions. That's all I got for now. I'm sure there's other things
like a built up
when you go and
like,
watch a game.
Like you said, we're up 14, so like there's a lot of stuff in the game. So it's very easy to like look back at the last 15 seconds or last minute of the game. There's so many things that happen in a game that allow that to happen. So you look at rebounding, they got a couple runouts early. all that stuff adds up. Like I missed 2 free throws to start the game. Like you can just add a lot of things that go to it. But I think rebounding they got a lot of second chance like opportunities and points and stuff like that.
Either one of you guys, what's your message to Chet? I know he's mad he missed the 2 free throws. What you guys tell him?
The 2 free throws don't. Like they would have been nice, but it's like also at the same time like that's not why we win or lose the game. Because like if they don't make that 3, we win the game. It's like if I make, like I said before, if I make 2 free throws early, what's the score of the game? Like, there's so many factors that factor into a game. That's not why we lost the game. And obviously it sucks and it's good for character development. He'll be better for it later down the road.
And also the Minnesota game where you guys lost a 16-point lead. I mean, this is obviously bigger stakes, playoffs and everything else, but does this kind of feel a bit like that a little bit for you?
Nah, not really. Like the average swing in an NBA game is 13 points. Right? Yeah. The average swing is 13 points. So you go up 13, you go down 13. That's just on normal for the playoffs. It's still right around there. So that's just kind of how basketball is. We understand that. It just didn't happen to go our way tonight.
Shea, why do you think the offense dried up for you guys down the stretch?
I'm not too sure. Like, it's hard to reflect this fast after the game, but what it felt like, they were just doing a good job of like loading the elbows on drives. They were in the passing lanes. I feel like we got a couple shots that were makeable for sure, and were pretty good looks. But there's definitely things we could be better at tactically down the stretch for sure. And I know myself, I'll look at those things and see if we can be better for next game. I can be better for next game for them for sure.
And then for either of you guys, obviously Joker's not your primary assignment, but he is a whole team.
It is a group effort, yeah.
Sure. 42 for him, obviously dominant on the glass as well. What can you guys do to try to limit a guy who's obviously puts up huge numbers against everybody?
I don't want to specifically say stuff, but you just try and make good players like that work for, catches and make shots hard. And I think if we can eliminate second chance points, I think that really hurt us. You get them to miss one, and then you go foul them and give them an and one. Plays like that add up over time. That's something that would be on the top of my head, but we'll have X's and O's and all the other stuff to do it. But a lot of that just comes from trying to make it tough. And he's a good player, so it's sometimes vice versa on this end. We're going to hit shots that are tough, and we kind of understand that. But you just try and make it as difficult as possible.
Guys, what would you say the overall mood of the team was after this one?
It sucked the first couple minutes, but after that, back to ourselves. Like I said, we didn't expect our whole run to be sunshine and rainbows, and we know that. It's about how we respond, and there's nothing we can do about what just happened. So there's no point to have our head down or be sad about it or sulk about it. All we can do is be better for the next game, and that's what we're focused on.
Jalen, you mentioned free throws earlier. What do you think that you guys could do better to improve on the glass? Rebounds.
Oh, you mean us fouling them?
No, you getting the rebounds.
Box out, go up with 2 hands and grab that. don't stand and watch. Box out again, and when you go up and you jump, make sure you grab it.
Anybody else? Go Andrew with the last one.
You guys didn't have a lot of clutch minutes during the regular season. Do you think that played to any of just like the lack of execution down the stretch, or is this just like one specific game?
Nah. It's easy to kind of like point the finger at that, and it's like if we win, we don't even bring it up. Mm-hmm. So it's like kind of like one of those things where it's like if we win, we could look at how we could have been better. If we lose, we do the same thing. It's just kind of like one of those things. So it's like obviously if we win this game, you know, everybody's gonna be like, oh, we fouled up 3 and this was good and our offense was great. Like it's kind of like one of those things. But we'll get back to the drawing board and figure out what we got to do to get better and improve and do that. You know, obviously the series is not first to one game, so. Just take it one step at a time. We know we weren't going to go on this like undefeated run, and this is just a bump in the road that we can recover from.
Thank you, guys.
I just barred up crazy.
Oh, Royce, I don't know about you, but this is what we see from these guys all season long. Exceptionally level-headed throughout the ups and the downs that inevitably come with an NBA season. And in the playoffs, those ups and downs, where they feel a little bit elevated and they feel a little bit more dramatic, but they are still the same level-headed professionals we've seen all season.
I was thinking the same thing, kind of listening to SGA and J-Dub, and it is remarkable, especially at their young age, that they are able to kind of keep that composure after, you know, a heated game. I mean, SGA was honest about it, like, you know, in the first few minutes after it, that was pretty bad. But then, you know, you kind of reset yourself. And it's funny to me sometimes when you think about how much everybody else on the outside is like freaking out. Yeah. But like the guys actually playing the game are the ones that are keeping it together and are composed and are looking forward to the next game. So take a cue from the actual players, the guys playing the game, and maybe kind of follow their lead on this sort of thing.
A little encouraging to see that from those guys after this game. Definitely makes you excited for what to come next in Game 2. Stay with us here on Thunder Live postgame because we're going to get you all squared away. Everything you need to know as the Thunder head into Game 2.
My doctor is my hero.
My doctor makes me happy, makes me feel safe.
It helps me get strong.
We're just so grateful that we don't have to travel out of state.
Oklahoma Children's Hospital cares for my child like their own. Gives us hope.
And has our trust.
Leadership starts at home. That's why Ford is from America, for America. And with a lineup of our most popular Ford trucks and SUVs, we're for Oklahoma, too. Including F-150, Bronco, and Expedition. That's our leadership lineup. Right now, get employee pricing. You pay what we pay. Ford, from America, for America. At your best in Oklahoma Ford dealers. Proud truck partner of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Hey, have you heard what's happening at Mathis Home? The Monumental Savings Event is happening right now. Save big on our newest arrivals. We have hundreds of sofas with styles you love at unbeatable prices. Like this one. At just $5.99, you can enjoy this contemporary sofa by Ashley, complete with 5 accent pillows. Just one of over 100 great sofas in stock and ready for you to enjoy tonight with fast and free delivery. So don't miss out on the Monumental Savings Event happening at your furniture superstore, Mathis Home.
Welcome back to Thunder Playoff Postgame here inside a Paycom Center. The Thunder and the Denver Nuggets battling it out here in Game 1 of the Western Conference Semifinals. The Denver Nuggets take the series lead 1-0 after a 119-121 victory. Immediately after each game, stream second round Thunder post-game playoff coverage and local Cardinals or Royals games on the FanDuel Sports Network app. Subscribe now. Welcome back inside of Paycom Center. And the Thunder, they're down 1-0 in this series against the Denver Nuggets, but this was a tightly contested game. The margin just 2 points at the end of it all. So the Thunder, as we heard from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, and Mark Daigneault, going to get back to the drawing board. They're going to see all of the areas that they could improve upon, and they are going to lean into those here in Game 2 on Wednesday. Royce, as you look ahead to Game 2, what can Thunder fans expect to see from OKC?
Well, you know, I think in a lot of ways, like we talked about, Paris, I think that the Thunder are going to kind of feel good about the way that they played the majority of this game. A lot of great shots. Got the shot making going there as kind of the game went along. Specifically, obviously, Alex Caruso shot the ball great. Lou Dort got it going from three. And the Thunder made a ton of shots as the game went along. But the shot quality was really good overall. It really was kind of about those final 4 minutes. It sounds like an oversimplification to feel like the Thunder really outplayed the Nuggets for, like 95% of the game and held between a 5 to 15 point lead. And then again, just were not able to really kind of close the game. Some of the fouls late really hurt OKC with the way the Nuggets were able to get the free throw line. Credit again to the Nuggets, some shot making for them. So there's I think a lot of more positives than negatives. It's just you happen to lose the game, so you feel real bad about that part.
Well, the good news is that it's the first to 4, not the first to 1. So still a lot of basketball to be played for Oklahoma City. Let's take a look at the series schedule. Game 2, as we mentioned, going to be on Wednesday. Games 3 and 4, those are going to be out in Denver. It's going to be on Friday at 9 p.m. Central Time on ESPN, and then Sunday, that's an early tip-off, 2:30 p.m. on ABC. And then we'll keep going as we move forward in this series. But a lot to look forward to as the Thunder take on the Denver Nuggets here in the Western Conference semifinals. So, Royce, real quick, final thoughts on this game and what you're looking forward to going into Wednesday.
Well, again, nobody thought this would be easy, and if you were kidding yourself if you did. But what this does mean, just kind of tangibly, is now the Thunder have to win a game on the road in this series. And they've obviously done that already in Memphis. They've done it throughout the entire regular season, the best road record in the NBA. So now, for the Thunder, they're going to have the Nuggets technically have home court advantage now in the Thunder, but that starts now with game 2 specifically. You can't look ahead to now having to win one in Denver. You got to take care of your business in game 2, get back to 0, handle that game, and then you can look forward to what happens next from there.
Well, the Thunder were under no illusions that this would be an easy series against the Denver Nuggets. So it is back to work on Wednesday as the Thunder take on the Nuggets in game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals. But thank you so much for staying up late with us here inside of Paycom Center and watching us here on this Thunder playoff postgame. Once again, our final score, 119-121, with Denver leading this best-of-7 series 1-0. For Royce Young, I'm Paris Lawson. A reminder to join us for a complete breakdown and reaction following Game 2 on Wednesday. Until then, good night from Paycom Center in downtown OKC.
And Robbie Chosen-Anderson, guest host.
Big Boys Guns, Ammo, and Range is Oklahoma's largest family-owned, climate-controlled gun range. Shop our huge selection of over 2,000 new and used firearms in our newly renovated 3,600-square-foot showroom. Try before you buy at our 24-lane gun range with distances up to 25 yards.